Assalamu alaikum everyone. This is me Fatima Khan Business Wali. I'm a student of Rehan AI Teachers Training Institute Batch 22. So today I'm going to discuss a very important topic with Sasmi, that is how to master the arts of negotiation in daily life. So today we will discuss this topic with Sasmi. So let's start.
Hey, how's it going?
Okay, so today I want to discuss the topic that is how to master the arts of negotiation in daily life.
Negotiation. Love it. It's basically just a high stakes game of how do we both get what we want without anyone leaving the table annoyed. Where do you want to start?
Basically, this topic is new for me, so today I want to get information about this topic from you.
Got it. Since we're starting from scratch, let's look at the big picture first. Negotiation isn't just about business deals or hostage situations. It's actually something you do every day, from deciding where to eat dinner to asking for a raise. At its core, it's just a conversation with a goal. Does that make sense so far?
Okay, so first of all, tell me what is negotiation and why is it important in daily life?
In the simplest terms, negotiation is a dialogue between two or more people to reach a mutually acceptable agreement. It's important because it helps us navigate conflicts and get our needs met without damaging the relationships we have. Basically, it's the difference between just giving in or getting into a fight when you don't agree on something. Ever felt like you just always give in to what others want?
How can effective negotiation improve personal and professional relationships?
It basically turns a potential conflict into a problem solving session. In personal lives, it stops resentment from building up because you're actually talking through needs instead of just hoping the other person guesses them. Professionally, it builds respect. When you can advocate for yourself and others fairly, you're seen as a leader and a collaborator rather than just a yeses person.
What are the key qualities of successful negotiator?
The best negotiators aren't usually the loudest people in the room, they're the ones who listen more than they talk. Empathy is huge, being able to see the world from the other person's side, and patience. Gotta be okay with a bit of silence while the other person thinks. Then there's flexibility, the ability to pivot when you find out what the other person actually values. Does any of that sound like you?
I'm saying, what are the key qualities of a successful negotiator?
My bad, let me be clear. The big ones are active listening, really hearing what's being said, empathy, to understand the other person's motive, and emotional control so you don't let a frustration spike derail the whole thing. Then there's patience and strategic flexibility, which is knowing when to hold your ground and when to give a little to get a lot. Does that cover it?
Okay, how does communication play a role in negotiation?
It's basically the entire engine of the process. It's not just about the words you choose, but how you say them. Tone, body language, and those little pauses can change the entire energy of the room. If you sound aggressive, people shut down. If you're too passive, you might get walked over. Magic happens when you can be firm about your goals, but soft on the person.
Why is active listening important during negotiations?
Because that's how you find the leverage. When you're just waiting for your turn to speak, you're missing the clues. Active listening lets you hear what they aren't saying. Like if they're more worried about the deadline than the actual price, once you know what they actually value, you can offer something that costs you nothing but means everything to them.
How can confidence influence a outcome of a negotiation?
Confidence sets the tone for the entire interaction. It tells the other person that your request is reasonable and that you actually believe it's worth the value you're asking for. If you're hesitant or apologetic, it signals that you're probably open to dropping your price or your demands. But the trick is not to confuse confidence with arrogance. You want to be sure of your value, not dismissive of theirs.
What are the common mistakes people make during negotiations?
One of the biggest is talking too much. People tend to fill the silence because it feels awkward, but that's usually when they accidentally negotiate against themselves. Then there's the win lose mindset, thinking that for you to win, the other person has to lose. That usually just kills the relationship. A lot of people enter the room without a clear walk away point, so they end up agreeing to things they'll actually regret later.
How can emotional intelligence improve negotiation skills?
It's the secret weapon. It lets you read the room and manage your own reactions so you don't get triggered by a tough comment. When you can recognize that the other person is feeling anxious or defensive, you can pivot your approach to make them feel safe, which usually makes them way more open to your proposal. It basically keeps the conversation productive instead of emotional.
Why is preparation essential before entering a negotiation?
Because you can't wing it and expect a great result. Preparation is where you actually win the negotiation before it even starts. It gives you a clear understanding of your goals, what you're willing to compromise on, and a bit of research on what the other person actually needs. Without it, you're just reacting to whatever they throw at you instead of steering the conversation toward a result you actually want.
How can body language affect negotiation outcomes?
It speaks louder than the words you're actually saying. Things like crossing your arms or avoiding eye contact can make you seem defensive or untrustworthy, even if you're being perfectly polite. On the flip side, leaning in slightly and keeping an open posture signals that you're engaged and open to a deal. It's all about creating a sense of alignment before you even open your mouth.
What is the role of patience in successful negotiations?
Patience is basically your armor. It stops you from making desperate moves. When you're patient, you can let the other person talk themselves into a better deal for you, or just let a silence sit there until they feel the need to fill it. It's the ability to stay calm when things feel stuck, which keeps you in control of the process.
How can a student use negotiation skills in academic life?
I'm assuming you mean negotiation skills, right? You can use them for things like asking for an extension on a deadline or negotiating your grade on a specific assignment if you feel it was unfairly marked. Even just working out how to split the work in a group project so everyone's happy is basically a negotiation.
Okay, so what techniques can help build trust during negotiations?
Trust is the foundation. If they don't trust you, they'll be looking for the catch in everything you say. One of the best ways is through transparency, being honest about your constraints and why you're asking for what you are. Then there's mirroring, which is subtly repeating the last few words they said. Makes people feel heard and understood on a subconscious level. And honestly, just admitting when you're wrong or when a point they made is valid goes a long way in showing you're acting in good faith.
Okay, so what is the difference between formal and informal negotiation?
It's mostly about the setting and the rules. Formal negotiation is usually structured, think contracts, boardrooms, or a legal settlement. There are often set agendas and specific people designated as the negotiators. Informal is just the flow of daily life, like haggling over a price at a street market or convincing your friends to see the movie you want. One is a process, the other is just a conversation.
Okay, so my last question. What should negotiation skills be taught as an essential life skills?
Absolutely, because so much of our lives are just a series of agreements. If you don't know how to negotiate, you're essentially letting everyone else decide the terms of your life. Teaching it early helps people advocate for themselves without feeling like they're being difficult or pushy. It's really just about learning how to communicate your value and respect others' value at the same time.
Okay, thank you, Maya.
You're very welcome. It was a great dive into this. Let me know if
So that's all about the conversation. I hope you learned something new in this conversation. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening to me. Allah Hafiz.